You're listening to The Bird Bath, presented by The Fountain Report. I'm your host, Ryan Leach. Welcome back to The Bird Bath. Each week we scrape the surface of the news you need to know, so let's get into it. Kicking us off this week is a one-year birthday celebration since the IPO of Inspire Veterinary Partners. Inspire, IVP as they're listed on the NASDAQ Stock Exchange, has just hit their one-year mark since their IPO last year in 2023. The company first came out at about $40 a share and has since been on a back end of a roller coaster. I don't even know if you'd call it fully a roller coaster ride, but the company, when they came out at $40 a share throughout the last year, they've seen themselves just continue to trend downward. And in the last couple months, actually did a 100-to-1 stock split. So that $40 a share is more representative of $400 a share. And at time of recording, it was just over $3 a share. So they had to do this reverse stock split in a way to keep themselves from getting delisted on the NASDAQ. They also shook up their executive board. They put together new chairmen. They brought in a lot of people to try and find a way to reignite what the business was doing. And it was a birthday that I was planning to let just go by without cakes or candles, but Inspire put out a new press release just this week discussing new verticals to drive a new phase of growth in veterinary care. It was a bit of an odd story that they put out. They said that they plan to accelerate their growth through acquisitions of single and multi-unit providers, and this is all a quote, broadening its service offering and enhancing business operations and consumer engagement by implementing artificial intelligence tools. That's kind of minus the AI, what everyone assumed was going on within the business over the past year and before. It's a pretty standard playbook within the consolidation space. So curious and interested to see where IVP takes it over the next year, and if this time next year, if we'll be talking about them going back private or if they will turn the tides. Our next story is about Leap Venture Studio. They've opened up their new applications for their seed stage pet care startups to join their global studio program. Each of the selected startups will receive $200,000 in funding and guidance from the world-leading pet care experts. The selected startups will participate in a 12-week hybrid program kicking off February 24th, 2023. Wow, we're coming up quickly in Los Angeles. And then they'll end with a big demo day in May in London. So if you are an early seed stage, that's a tough one to say. If you're an early seed stage startup, that's looking to really kickstart what you're doing, Leap has an incredible history of bringing companies through this early stage with their backing from Mars Pet Care as well as the Mickelson Found Animal Foundation. So I'll make sure to put the link to the registration in the bio of the show, and be sure to check it out. Ask other people. You probably know someone that has participated in one of their programs before, so be sure to check that out. On the insurance side of things, we continue this nonstop will they or won't they of whether or not pet insurance has any space to grow in the U.S. veterinary market. So Companion Protect, which is based in Kansas City, which is where I'm recording live for you all right now, they secured an additional $20.25 million in what they call a Series A extension round. Just 1 year ago, they secured $27 million in funding. And what they said when they raised that money was the money is going towards a bid to disrupt the pet health space and bring pet healthcare to the masses. It's an ambitious goal, but through my research, I was able to see Companion Protect in this most recent extension was funded by Liberty Mutual. So a traditional insurance player putting some money behind the growth that we would expect to see in the pet insurance space. Again, this is sort of taking us through this, up and down and wondering of what's going to happen. But to see $47 million put into a pet insurance company in the last year is not unusual if you're looking at JAB's playbook with their deep investment and acquisition of lots of players, but it is unusual if you look at the struggles that companies like Nationwide have had to be able to gain some traction. So, best of luck to Companion Protect. I would love to see the availability of pet insurance as a way for people to be able to keep their pets happy, healthy, longer lives, and all of the great things that can come from that. Now, if you're wondering, Ryan, you sound a little different today. Well, it's because I've been talking nonstop for the past week, and I am coming to you and recording live from the Animal Health Corridor Summit in Kansas City. It's a summit that they're calling Boundless, and it's bringing together a lot of people from all over the animal health side of the world, which, as you may know, I'm looking to try and explore more and understand more of what's happening, not just in our vet care space or our pet care space, but the entirety of the animal health world. So this is a great event. It's going on Monday and Tuesday this week. So next week, I'm going to give you a summary of the KC Animal Health Corridor Summit. But earlier this week, or I guess last week, everything's running together, I had the opportunity to go to the Veterinary Innovation Summit. That's an event that's put on by the Veterinary Innovation Council and the NAVC. And the talks were very heavily focused on AI, machine learning, or as someone said, let's not give it a crazy name. Let's just talk about it as being an easier way to do things. But one of the talks that I found the most interesting and exciting was from Jonathan Lustgarten. Now, Jonathan is the Senior Biomedical Informatics Specialist, which was just a cool title anyways. But Jonathan works at Mars Veterinary Health, and he talked a lot about what was going on and how Mars is actually tackling the implementation of AI across its platforms. He was joined by Eric Fish, who covered some of the ways that machine learning works and can be rolled out. It was an interesting topic because we had spent the previous day and a half or so prior to their talk hearing from a ton of great companies about how they were actually utilizing this, or the limitations or the regulatory needs or the concerns that people might have around machine learning. But I thought that Jonathan and Eric did a wonderful job of sort of peeling back the curtain. I'm not one to be snapping pictures and taking notes too often, but I found the overall layout of how Jonathan took the understanding of the implementation curve to be interesting, because the thing that he highlighted was that this is not a new implementation strategy, right? This is an initiative that you have to expect for whether it's AI or whether it's a new pay plan or whether it's any new thing rolling out across the business. He pointed out that you're always going to have your innovators at the beginning, or the innovation happening at the beginning, peak excitement, and excitement builds. And then if people start to see that it's not happening or coming through what he calls the trough of disillusionment, where the excitement meets reality, most of the time we see that initiatives then go right back to the innovation stage. Someone will say, well, this didn't happen, this didn't work, and they then pivot back to rebuilding the idea into something new. But it's not until we get through the trough of disillusionment that we actually get to a point where change can happen. And the practicality, and this is all from Jonathan here, but the practicality meets the capabilities. As that continues to grow, usually, and from his research, he showed that you never reach, again, that peak of excitement, but you can reach a max enthusiasm, which is what allows these products to plateau and sustain and become part of our everyday utilization. The other talk that I thought was really fun, or the session that I thought was really fun, is when we get to have the pitch competition. There were 3 companies that pitched. The winner of the pitch competition was Innovative Pet Labs, and then Radimal actually won the audience favorite. So both of those companies did a great job to really secure some funds, some kickstart there to move the needle a bit, and also made a really great job of impacting the way that people heard and saw what their companies are doing. The final thing that happened in Kansas City this week, besides having a great time and getting to enjoy the city, was that I got to go to Fetch, which is a conference by DVM 360. And yes, I think every person in the veterinary industry at least was in Kansas City for 24 hours over the past week. But what we saw and the event that I really enjoyed getting to go to, it was the kickoff of the North American Association of Veterinary Receptionists. And there were some great people there. And Dr. Adam Chrisman came in and sort of raised a margarita toast to all of the CSRs who were participating in the first ever CE track exclusively for veterinary receptionists. It's a really cool organization that's just came out onto the scene in the past year or so, or in the past few months, actually. And it's got a lot of wonderful people help pushing it forward. Some of the names you might recognize were Dr. Jill Clark, who sort of brainstormed the idea to kick it off. And then she brought in Debbie Boone, who's a certified veterinary practice management consultant. And then finally, they brought in Rhonda Bell. The three of them took on this challenge to be able to give veterinary receptionists, or CSR, as you probably hear them called often, a space to be able to continue engaging and learning in our industry. So that was my favorite thing I probably got to see at the conference in Kansas City for Fetch. Plus, I always enjoy walking the conference floor. So to everyone that I had the opportunity to sit down with and chat with and learn more about so many innovative and new businesses and organizations and groups, I just want to thank you all for your time. And if you are looking to hear more about what happened at these different events, be sure to reach out. You guys know where to find me. Finally, be sure to tune in next week when we break down all of the incredible things that are happening as I speak here in Kansas City at the KC Animal Health Corridor Summit. It's a really cool event. It's a gorgeous facility, and it's something that I'm looking forward to bringing to you all next week. And for more on these and other stories, join us by subscribing to The Fountain Report. There's a link in the bio. And don't miss out on any episodes by subscribing and rating the show. For The Bird Bath, I'm Ryan Leach. See you next week.